All right, what's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I'm driving a 2019 Honda Civic EX. Up front is a 1.5-liter turbocharged inline 4, and down below is a CVT.
This video is sponsored by CarMarshal.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the link down in the description below. CarMarshal.com advertises for over 100,000 vehicles across the US.
But let's get back to that 1.5-liter inline 4 turbo. Well, it's actually the same engine that came in the CR-V that I reviewed earlier this year, and honestly, I kind of like it. It puts out 16 pounds of boost from the factory, which is, honestly, by my standards, that's quite a bit. And that being said, it's not the most sluggish thing in the world. It's still a Civic, it's still not the SI or Type R, so it's not gonna blow the doors off a Lamborghini, but it will add that pep, and you're not gonna feel weird getting on and off the highway. You're not gonna feel underpowered, and I think that's where it really matters, especially in these cars. All right, so 1.5-liter turbo Civic Sport Mode. It's nothing crazy, but for an economy car, it definitely gets out of its own way, and you don't feel like a drag in traffic. You don't feel like you're holding people up, which is super, super nice. You do get ever so slight turbo noises. They're there. They're there. They're not loud, but they're there. And I really, really like that too. Now, like I said, paired to it is a CVT, continuously variable transmission, so there's no real gears. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I think Honda has them down pretty good. They're not exactly perfect in my book. Sometimes when you're accelerating, they do feel a little weird. They feel a little wonky, but it is what it is. And last but not least, the Civic EX is front-wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I actually have a digital gauge, which is really interesting. It is giving me my speed, gear, stuff like that, average fuel economy. To the left, I do have my coolant temperature, and on the right, I have my fuel. I absolutely love the fuel and temperature gauges in newer Hondas. They look like life remaining bars or like health bars in video games. I think that they look so, so cool. They sort of mix digital with practical gauges, and honestly, for a big dork like me, I really, really like them. On the steering wheel, I get a bunch of different options. On the left is my phone options, voice commands, volume, stuff like that. And on the right is my cruise control options. So this car has the Honda sensing system, which is radar cruise control, lane keep assist, all of that stuff rolled into one. It's similar to Subaru's EyeSight. They just give it a fun name, Honda Sensing. It doesn't really mean much. It just means that the car is equipped with radar cruise control and all these sensors around the car, which is really, really nice. And that does come standard on Civics. As of 2019, it's come standard on all Civics, which is absolutely awesome. I'm so excited to be moving forward in the future where all cars will have radar cruise control. It's just absolutely awesome. Before we leave the steering wheel, one interesting thing is on the end of the turn signal stalk, there is a little button to turn on the right camera, and it pops up in the center display. We'll talk about the center display in a little bit, but super, super handy. If you want to see your blind spot, you can just turn that on and look, and you don't have to head check 80,000 times to make sure no one's in your blind spot. To the left, I just have collision avoidance off, traction control off, and my lane keep assist on and off. Nothing really too crazy there. And then on the door, I just have my power windows. In the center, we do have a really nice touchscreen. It does have Apple CarPlay. You can get navigation if you like, phone, all that stuff. I really like it. I do like that Honda's system is relatively simple. It's very basic, but it works for sure. And I don't have to go around 80,000 different menus just to find one thing. It's pretty simple, and I like that it actually has physical buttons on the side because you don't have to 100% rely on the touchscreen to do what you need. Down below the touchscreen, you do get your fan controls, AC, heating, cooling, pretty basic stuff there, and then you do get heated seats. In the center, we do have the shifter, nothing too crazy here. Now, the higher trim level actually does get a leather shift knob. Not that it's that big of a deal, but I like the shifter. It does have low and sport. You can put it into those modes if you really like. It's a CVT. It's going to kind of trick you into being just a first gear. It's just lower end of the range. Then we have the brake hold, which if you press that, you just press the brake a little extra hard and the car will hold. This is absolutely awesome for commuting. Our CX-5 at home actually has this, and I was coming back on a road trip and I got stuck in bumper to bumper traffic, and it was probably the nicest thing I had ever had in a car was the auto brake hold. Absolutely awesome, and I really, really want that in my next car. Then we have the Econ button over to the right. This is just going to put you in economy mode. You'll get a little bit better gas mileage than you're already getting. And then you have an electronic parking brake. Then we have the cup holders and center console, which is pretty sizable. It is a really big center console, and I really like that. Now the seats are cloth. I really like them. They have decent bolsters. It's obviously not going to be anything sporty. This is still really an economy car, and so you don't really need the high racing bolsters. You're not going to be throwing harnesses in this thing, but it does hold you pretty well, and I like the seats a lot. Now the higher trim level did come with leather seats, so if you need your 8-way adjustable leather seats, you can still get that in a higher trim level in the Civic, but these are just the leather seats. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so we will do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2019 Honda Civic Hatch, and honestly, my knees do touch the front seat. It's not horrible. You just spread your legs a little bit, and it's fine. The seats are a little bit stiff, and they sort of feel like a neoprene wetsuit a little bit. I do have a center console. Can pop that down. I have 2 cup holders, and that's it. I do have, obviously, power windows. They are not automatic, but there are speakers in the doors, which is a very, very nice thing for a Honda Civic. Normally, in these types of cars, the back seat is completely forgotten about, but we do get little speakers in the doors, so I really like that. Overall, it's not a bad back seat, and definitely the hatch does help out with headroom. So to finish out the interior, we do have a really nice sunroof. It is decently sized, and of course it opens, obviously, like every modern sunroof does. But overall, I like the interior. It's not overstated or understated, really. It's just a good median. I like it a lot. It's nice, clean, it's simple, it's new, and it definitely looks current. I think that's the biggest thing I look for when I'm in an interior is, do I feel like this is something new? For new cars, of course. If I buy something new, I want it to definitely feel new. I think a lot of cars suffer from this because you spend all your time in the interior, and if they feel old, you're not going to really feel that cool driving it. You're not going to feel good driving it. Especially you're not going to feel good driving it off the lot in something that looks like it could have came out 10 years ago. But this definitely feels new. It feels modern, and I like that a lot. Now we have to talk about the looks. I absolutely love the look of the 2019 Civic, especially the hatch, especially in this color, and especially with the darker wheels. I think overall this is the best looking non-Type R Civic that you can get. I honestly would say that this looks better than the Type R because I think the Type R's rear wings are absolutely ridiculous and childish. So you know what? I'm going on record. This is the best looking 2019 Civic you can buy. 100%. I love the color. I love the look of it. I love the hatch, which, speaking of the hatch, driving it, you don't really feel like you're driving a hatchback, which is sort of interesting. I really thought that I'd feel sort of longer, almost more of like an estate car, but I really don't. You don't even notice the hatch. But it is a hatch, which is really, really cool. Overall, I have to say, I really do like the 2019 Civic. I really like the 2019 Civic hatch. I think the engine is actually surprisingly really good. It's a 1.5 liter, which, yeah, small displacement, but it has that turbo, and it's still, you can kind of make turbo noises-ish, sort of, not really, but sort of. And it gets great gas mileage. I think the car looks great. It's packed with technology, and it's a really, really good deal. This is one of those classic cases of, I honestly genuinely feel like Honda's base model is a lot nicer than other base model manufacturers, if that makes sense. Now, this isn't the base model. The EX isn't the base model. It's not what I'm getting at, but just dollar for dollar, I feel like your dollar goes a little bit further with Honda. Just a little bit further, because this has radar cruise control for such a low price. It's absolutely awesome, and the car looks great, has plenty of technology. Apple CarPlay and radar cruise control are really the only two things I need in my life right now. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Felix for letting me drive his 2019 Honda. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
Aside from my soul.